This is the Women's Hockey Life Podcast.
Welcome to the Women's Hockey Life Podcast, empowering women and girls in hockey. We'll be talking in depth about what it really takes to be unstoppable on the ice and in life. We'll be looking at the mindset of the most successful women as they mastered the game and went on to even bigger successes in life because they mastered it. This podcast is brought to you by our friends over at the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated. Go to thn.com/deal to subscribe to their magazine today. She's a highly skilled player, currently a member of the PWHPA, former student athlete at St. Lawrence University. She was a member of Canada's under-22 development team, won the Clarkson Cup in 2017. She's coached at Colgate University at the NCAA D1 level, as well as Concordia University in Montreal, and has become a celebrated ambassador and voice for the game. Karell Emard, also known as Cax, welcome to the show.
Wow. I mean, I think I'm blushing already. That is way too nice of an intro, actually.
Well, it's all fact. It's all truth. You are an unbelievable, not only a hockey player, ambassador for the game, but a human being. I've had the privilege of knowing you for several years now and grateful to have you here and share your wisdom and knowledge and your story with our listeners.
Well, I'm very happy to be here and humbled that you chose me to be on your podcast, Jack.
Of course.
I'm very excited too.
Awesome. So how are you doing? How has COVID been treating you? How are you holding up? What's life like in Montreal right now?
Yeah. I'm in Montreal. I'm in what we call the beautiful red zone. Stuck inside for a majority of the time. I'm one of the lucky ones that still work from home and everything. Nothing has really changed. It's been honestly COVID has been the biggest challenge on trying to figure out what else I can do with my life and what else I can spare my time with or work on projects or I'm a very social person is what I realized too. And I absolutely love to be around people. So it's been a bit challenging in that regards. As far as like, I don't know if I bugged here. My internet just went out. So
you're good. I still got you.
Okay. So take it back to, it's been very challenging in a sense of, finding out that I can do things on my own. I can do things without anyone. I can read. Not that I didn't know I couldn't, not that I didn't know how to read before, but more so in a sense of not being bored out of my mind and actually diving into books. And like, I've been doing little classes for work too and stuff. So I've been good at keeping busy. I found a new skill.
So you're still working, so you still got that going for you. So this extra time that you now have, is that because you're not able to train like you used to?
Yes. So like that's something here in Montreal as right now the red zone is not allowing us to be on the ice as a group or train in facilities. Like all the gyms are closed and everything. So I have luckily I know a friend that has a gym, so I have stuff downstairs and train here. It's a bit different, but stay kind of like fit and everything. We have programs that we follow too and stay in shape. And then Danielle Sauvageau, actually the GM and the basically lady in charge of everything here in Quebec, in Montreal for what is high level hockey, is finding us ice here and there. And the way it works, it's really sad in a way, but it's 2 players on each side of the rink and you're not allowed to cross the red line and you don't have a coach. So you're putting yourself through skill sessions basically.
Wow.
So I've had a couple sessions there, but that's what our Olympians are doing. Technically, that's all we got. So we're working on trying to get somewhat of exemption to be able to practice as a group and have this bubble, because I don't see anyone else than the hockey girls, right? And we don't go outside. Restaurants are closed here. Well, you go outside to walk, so you get a little bit of fresh air, but that's it, So a little bit different as far as like that time spent and you're just trying to stay mentally sane and keep motivated. And yeah, I have a dog, and he's doing an amazing job as being my emotional support guy.
I think dogs, more dogs were purchased and adopted throughout this pandemic than I think ever before. And I get why. I get it.
Absolutely. I like the first few months, I was like fully alone here. Right now, I have a roommate, Jesse Aldridge, actually lives downstairs. But he was my only human, not even human, a life around me, basically. So, the first time I talked to him daily. That's what I did. And until I was able to actually see people. So, yeah, thank God I had this little man around for sure.
I love it. Well, I'm pumped to have you here. I'm glad you're holding up and doing well considering. I kind of want to go back to the beginning of your story, because I love your story. I love the challenges, the obstacles you had to overcome just to get to St. Lawrence, and the fact that you're still playing to this day. So I guess take me back to, like, how did you even end up at St. Lawrence?
I ended up at SLU. I went on a visit, just long story short, went on a visit, fell in love with it, still did all my other visit, and always compared everything to St. Lawrence. So I knew probably from the first visit that I was going to end up there. But if I go back a little bit, even in high school, I was the kid that did fine in English class in a French school. So that means it's like intro to French for you guys probably, or whatever that is. Yes. You learn how to write a letter, and that's it. It's like, dear John, here's what I did today, and so I thought I was good, and I don't know what it was, but I was confident enough to tell everyone that I was going to get a scholarship and go to the US. And I remember my English teacher telling me, like, okay, yeah, we'll see about this, basically. And pretty much said, like, there's no way, like, you'll end up there. And I decided to, like, go from French high school to now here in Quebec, we have the CJEP. So I decided to choose an English CJEP so that
I gotta interrupt you right there, because for those of you who don't know, English is not your first language.
It is not. You'll hear the accent.
I love the accent. I hope that never goes away. But so she said, she made this statement. Cax made this statement of, I'm going to go to the US, get a scholarship, hopefully, and play college hockey in the United States of America. And she can write like a Dear John letter in English. Like, how, that's amazing that you had the confidence and, the vision to do that. And then you now are taking the steps. You go to a CJEP, English speaking school, master the language, and boom, continue on.
Yeah. No, it's kind of crazy when you look back at it. I went from writing a 25-word, probably a little Dear John letter to a, research papers and everything. And I went to CJEP, but I was in a very French group of people. I played hockey, so I had my French friends that helped me here and there. And then I took the SAT, and praise to God that I don't know how I did it, but I did well. And I guessed right. And I didn't even know that I was going to lose points if I guessed wrong. So I kept answering things to find out halfway through that I could lose points. And then I was like, oh, well, too bad. Like, this is going to be me. And I mean, I could have got into an Ivy, which it was like, I don't know how I did it, to be completely fair. And I had the opportunity to go different places. I was focused on my game too during CJEP, and Team Quebec and Team Canada and all that stuff, and the training that takes place with that too, and managing both school and hockey. But yeah, St. Lawrence came in the picture, and Sabrina Harbeck at the time was a stud in the NCAA from Quebec, went to SLU, and I ended up meeting her training here at the Olympic Stadium in Montreal, and we just hit it off. And she, come to the visit, like, come meet Paul Flanagan at the time, and one thing to another, she led to another, and she was my senior when I was a freshman, and I think it was the perfect move because I had a French, and Annie Gay was there too. So I had two French players to kind of like introduce me or help me a little bit to maneuver around that new college lifestyle and everything, and fully English. And yeah, it worked out. My first year, when I look at papers I wrote my freshman year to where I ended up as a grad student there at SLU and finishing early and stuff, like I don't know how my teachers were so nice.
You weren't trying. You weren't taking things for granted. I guarantee you worked with them, you worked with tutors maybe. Like you're not just one to coach through things. You go 110%.
Yeah, no, I office hours, I was there. I met them before the semester would start, so they knew a little bit more, and not to call me out in class too at times, just to be comfortable enough and not be stressing sitting on my chair and not making eye contact.
You did that too?
Yeah, I did it a lot actually. I'm like, oh no, please don't choose me. But yeah, I just I had the support, and St. Lawrence was also being I believe I think it's 2.5 hours from home, so very easy for my parents to come, and if ever needed to be, could come back to Montreal and see friends, family, everything. So which I ended up not doing. I got to SLU, I came back the first 2 months, and then afterwards it was like, don't even take me out of here, like you guys can come visit me, come see my campus versus the rest. But I went from Frenchland to fully English, double major, then a grad degree. So I did it.
You did. You absolutely did. And you can literally tell the story now and hopefully inspire others listening to this. And so you go from playing, obviously great college career. What did you know you wanted to get into coaching? How did that fall in your lap?
This is a funny thing, because I think that every single St. Lawrence graduate, I think that looking at Mayor McDougall, Ted Wisner, and Chris Wells being our coaches, their camaraderie, the staff they were, how they treated us, and then their lifestyle basically, they set us up to love coaching. Like they were like, you will change players' life, you'll be there to mentor them, you'll be there to help them get to the next level, become strong, empower women, basically, is what they also did on top of coaching us as hockey players. So I loved it. I was like, this is going to be me. I want to do this. I'm going to do it. And then, there's always a part of you where you get to college, you have 4 years, you play, and then you're like, okay, I got to figure it out now. This is it. I'm going to Europe, or I'm staying here. I'm getting a job. I'm a senior, no longer on, let's say, the Team Canada rosters or anything. So it's almost like if society is telling you like, well, you're not here, so why would you keep playing? So why are you even thinking of keeping playing? And then I was debating the whole thing. Like I was still in love with hockey and thought that coaching could be my little fix, I would say, on top of like helping others too. So I went straight from playing at St. Lawrence to coaching at Colgate, right from legit played against them and coached them. So that was a little bit of a challenge. But I think that because the opportunity was there, because it was a no-brainer from, let's say, society or from others, why would you refuse this? Like, go. It's a D1 opportunity. You're going to learn so much from the coaching staff that you're going there. And that school, it's in the ECAC, like this league, you're going to be great, blah, blah. So, it was a no-brainer, but yet the little hockey player inside of me was just, missing it too much. And I didn't listen to myself basically as much as I should have probably. I don't regret anything. I think I changed my game a little bit from coaching.
Huge impact. That would have a huge impact on that. Seeing the game from behind the bench.
Yeah.
And
you analyze it better, you understand it better, decisions. I was a very, I still am, but very high energy forward that goes through people or gets there as quickly as possible or whatever, versus like thinking it through, anticipating more, analyzing a little bit of like areas that you should cover better than others. And it changed your game. I ended up like, I coached the D, right? So I ended up coming back and playing D for a bit. And I'm like, okay, I only played D on power plays. Like that's not me or whatever, but I don't know. I can play both still, apparently. And
versatile. You can play it all.
I don't like I just think I fit whatever is missing on teams at times. Or it seems like I did that for a bit.
Yeah, that makes you invaluable too, and that's why you've probably had a career that you have, and you're still playing. But so getting back to like you got into coaching because it was kind of like actually you remind me of me in that like I got right into coaching as soon as I graduated too, and then it was the same thing. I'm like I had that itch, so I played overseas. You, on the other hand, tell us where you went from there. 3 years of coaching at Colgate. What happened next?
3 years at Colgate. I'm talking with people, then decides that I'm done with Hamilton, New York. I need to come back to Montreal, basically, and done with the small town. And that same year, actually, Poulan was Mary, whatever, however you want to call it.
Whoever that girl is, I don't even know what her name is. Who is she?
That's number 29 here. At some point, you may know her. But anyways, we go way back. We're really good friends, and we were chatting, and she's like, why don't you just come back? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I'm graduating, obviously playing for Montreal, and I think you should come and play too. Like, why not? Like, you're stopping, you're coming back to Montreal regardless. Like, just try out, and then let's go. And she convinced me. So Montreal drafted me as a coach, basically, and drafted me to become a player. And we played together. It was actually pretty cool because she scored her first goal off of a pass of mine. Just like little moments that you live basically together. But that was my first point in the CW and her first goal too. And played for Les Canadiens for 4 years, I believe, fully till already till the CWHL folded basically or ceased operations. And now I'm still playing with the PWHPA and still pushing to build this league that we all deserve and that younger generations will get for sure. So
100%. And we're definitely going to touch on that in a second, but I have one quick question because I'm just thinking of when I came back and played and then stopped and got back into coaching. I couldn't have imagined 3 years later trying to play at that elite level again. Like, what was your one mindset, but also your physical condition going from coaching for 3 years to back in the saddle of, hey, I'm now line mates with Marie-Philippe Poulin. Like you're playing with the best of the best.
Yeah, no, I was, I think I was lucky, and whoever played with Pooh just looks so good. So it doesn't matter. Honestly, she's a beast of her own and made me probably look better, or got the puck probably in her skates and then scored out of it. So let's put it that way. No, but I'll have to actually probably thank Greg Fargo for my hockey shape here and there. Sometimes we had like injuries or like we needed to practice PK or bring the intensity. And he's like, why don't you just suit up today? And then I was like, yeah, sure. And then I suited up for a few of our practices to a point where I was like, can I suit up today? Like, I don't
want to coach. I want to play.
I could still coach, you know, it's all good. And he did let me jump on the ice here and there. But the training was different, obviously. And coming back was like that summer, I was like, okay, I need to get my act together and step up on it. So got back into the gym and actually worked out with Pooh again. I can give her the credit. It's all good. Right. But it was funny because we were doing sprints together. And we actually talked about this the other week, which is actually hilarious, that we would be on a soccer field or a turf. And she's like, yeah, I need to do sprints. I'm like, all right, got you. Let me start here. So it was like 15 yards ahead of her. And I'm like, you got to catch me. Ready? And then, so I was doing sprints knowing that she was going to crush me or whatever. But I was challenging her to, you know, get to that level. She caught me a few times.
Oh, I love it.
The heck out of me. But yeah, training wise was different. And you can train all day, but you get back on the ice and it's like, yeah, never even trained. So yeah, my leg felt it for a bit, for a little while. And then you get back into it. And then the hockey shape comes back. Your second win and everything is normal. So I think I just love it so much. And we had a really good team and really good people around us. Like Karell would invite me to the skill sessions a lot too. And, I had a little bit more of a freedom that first year when I came back too, and kind of like having that schedule with a lot of flexibility, coaching at Concordia here and there in the mornings, and then being able to be on the ice as much as I could too. So yeah, I took what I could and basically try to make the best out of it so that it could last longer.
You were resourceful. I love that. And yeah. Clearly that little girl in you, the passion of playing, from when you stopped at St. Lawrence, it was always there, and it still hasn't left. What are you, 32 now?
Yeah. I can't believe you just said my age.
You're young still, though. This is the part that's crazy, is like, I love that you're not an Olympian,
no.
Right?
Uh-huh.
But you have the same drive and passion and energy. Clearly, that's your style. You just go. And you're still playing. So I want to dive into the PWHPA, and just so for those who maybe are listening that might be first time listeners or not know what that is, can you just explain what is the PWHPA, how it started, and like what's its goal?
Yeah, definitely. So the PWHPA is the Professional Players or Women's Hockey Players Association, and it unfortunately started right after I touched on it a little bit, but the CWHL. Seasoning operations, a group of us just got together, and Liz Knox was a big part of it on the Canadian side, and Hillary and I, Kendall Coyne, and we just were like, okay, this can't be it. Like, this is not what we intended to do. If the CWHL would have kept going another year, like more teams were coming on this side. Anyways, we had some momentum, obviously, with viewership, the fan base, everything was ramping up. So we just decided that we're going to associate ourselves. We're going to become this group that will make somewhat the decisions or the moves to push women's hockey, and and involve the people that wants to get involved with us, and move the needle a little bit further, in the sense of, we do not agree with we did not agree with the way certain leagues were ran before. Or existed or still exist, and we wanted more, and enough settling, and more so, let's push, let's ask, we should deserve certain things as professional athletes, Olympians. I mean, you have a group of people that players that has close to 50 Olympians spread out in 5 regions or 6 regions. And the level of competition and level of skills is unmatched. You don't even see that in the NHL at this point. The pool is so much smaller and whatnot. And we have these pro players that need to figure out a way to play, a place to play, an organization that will treat them as professionals. So we said, enough is enough. Let's take matter in our own hands, and let's associate ourselves with the right people. And that's where Billie Jean King came in the picture. That's where the lawyers of the national women's soccer team came into the picture and wanted to help. And we're still here and we're still pushing. Obviously with COVID, things are a bit slower in a sense, but it's not even slower. It's such an uncertain world that we are in right now, that we understand there's bigger and bigger fish to fry at this point than women's hockey. But the fact that people are still supporting us, the brands are in, they see a future in our sport, and we just decided to be hey, we have the right group of people. Let's bring our voice together. Let's have the same message, and let's make it clear for everyone that can see us. We're not going to settle for anything else. So
no, absolutely. And so you guys just made the announcement, the PWHPA, to do this showcase tour. You got 5 teams. What is it, about 125 of you, 35 to 40 are Olympians, everyone else top level collegiate athletes, have been with the national teams. What is that for sure? We're going, everything's happening. The games are going to be I haven't seen a schedule. Maybe it's going to come out soon. Maybe by the time this airs, it's out, but is that a go for sure? As far as you know?
Yeah. So, well, basically it's all banking on COVID and seeing, like, I was just talking about Montreal being the most like limited place at this point. So, and then on top of it, you also have to like understand, we have 2 teams in the US, right? So I then see Mr. Trudeau saying that the borders are going to be open at any point, which is sad. But understandable too. So of course, yes, we are all in for 2021. Goal is to have like the amount of showcases that are planned to have, and we don't have a schedule either. We don't know if it's going to be 7, 8, 10 however showcases, but if we're just being a little bit more like reading between the lines and understanding what's going on, starting in January, probably finishing in March, maybe a bit later, who knows, May, maybe, I don't know. I think we're going to be able to have some showcases, but I don't know to what extent. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some showcases in Canada and then showcases in the US.
So all COVID permitting, eh?
Yeah, more so than anything else. Like if the borders can't open, there's no way we can transfer this. But what's being very interesting is the hubs are working their bags off, and the associations and the GMs to make sure that we at least will end up in little bubbles that we can play within our own city at times, or hopefully we can play Toronto even on the side, like not, you know what I mean? So I mentioned her earlier, but Danielle Sauvageau is we are being supported by a place, it's called the Center, the High Performance Center, and everything that is resource linked or any type of like doctors, physio, rink or whatever is like, she is taking care of it. So, we are lucky in Montreal, although we are in this crazy world. Very lucky. And I think Calgary has a great setup too, Toronto as well too. And then New Hampshire and Minnesota both can practice and do it all right now.
I was going to say, they're the ones that are doing it right now, because they different rules, different country, different states. Yep.
Yeah. So, no, it's hopefully, I honestly want to play. I think the showcases, I think people are going to come or watch, however that works. And we had a good little thing going last year, although it was all planned like last minute. So this time around it was going to be scheduled, and all of it, boom,
COVID had other plans for you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And it gets back to what you said, like reading between the lines, and the PWHPA continues to make these massive strides. And this is kind of where I want to lead to next, particularly with the partnerships, right? And with the other companies that you've got on board. Talk to me about the recent ones, whether it be Parity or Secret. How exciting.
I mean, let's go with the big guy, right? Secret. All right. They were awesome last year. They did a great job at supporting the showcase in Toronto. And I think that they got to know us. I think that they got to see what we were doing, where we want to go. And what they did this year is like something that has never been seen basically in women's hockey. It's $1 million like investment in operations, and give me $1 million and the CWHL still exists like at this point type of thing, but I think this is like huge. I think what we've been saying, I think that the narratives and what we are striving for, I think it's empowering each other. And I think that Secret is empowering us, but is also empowering any woman in this world, saying like, hey, we're in a pandemic. This sport we don't know if it's going to happen, but we're going to be right behind them and we're supporting them. And I think that in itself is amazing. Like it's motivating. It was like, at times you're just like, man, is this a good timing though? Like we just busted numbers in COVID and this is happening, and you're kind of awkward, but yet you can't overlook how beautiful this is basically. And you mentioned it, but the strides that we've been making, this is like somewhat of a reward, like the people behind the scene, the people that are talking to these companies, like the board members that have been in touch with these companies too, like the Kendall Curran, the Hillary Knight, the Sarah Nurse, all of them, they are our voices, and everyone is saying the same thing, and we're not moving away from it. So when companies come in, they see that we are like transparent and this is who we are. This is what we're striving for. Come in, join us. That's all.
Get on board or not, right?
Basically it. Like, honestly, there's nothing else we're trying to do. We're creating, or we want to create this professional league. We want to have an equal opportunity as the men's counterpart. Like we just need the girls when they graduate from college to have a dream and keep on going, and it not just be the Olympic, you know.
Yep.
So
I do have to give one shout because Adidas is another one that's partnered with you guys, and you got the apparel up on your site now and everything else so people can buy stuff. I know a lot of people in my world have been pumped to do that and see it and have purchased it. So I know you got a lot of fans definitely in my world here.
And everywhere, like go and shop, and the profits are coming back to us, guys. And it's not just to us like players, it's going back to like going and play in your areas or investing into what we will be creating. So it's just all good stuff. And you know, there's parity that came into and is trying to like match athletes with like brand within their areas and everything, and you know, just the concept that they have as a company, and being able to create this platform for women's athlete is another like essential basically to us.
Yep.
And it's giving all of us a voice as well too, you know. So the potential unheard at times are being heard now.
And I love that. I absolutely love that. That's what's important. And you mentioned just, you know, obviously creating this platform, creating this league so that young girls can not only strive now to play in college and university, but hey, guess what? After those 4 years, you don't have to quit, right? You don't have to jump into to coaching or what society tells you should do. It's, hey, let's create this league and make it so that you can keep playing.
Yeah.
My question for you, which I get asked all the time, so I always ask others in the hockey world as well, is what needs to happen for there to be one league? Or can there be competing leagues? Can there be multiple leagues? Is it best for the game to have more than one league? Or what do you think needs to happen?
Yeah, I mean, you know, what's crazy is that there's no right answer. Once upon a time, I thought we needed one, and that's it. And there's room for one, but it's unfair. It's unfair to say that in a sense of, you can have multiple leagues, you can coexist, you just have different services, or you're providing a different product, right? And it's nothing to say anything against players that are playing or will be playing in different leagues. Like, I mean, you look at the men's team or the men's side of things, like you've got the NHL, the AHL, the ECHL, name them. There's so many pro leagues, all right? And they all exist and they all have different purposes. And I think it would be unfair to solely just have the NHL or on the women's side of thing and strictly that, because then we're going to end up in the same scenario where there's no farm teams, there's no players that are keep on playing after. We need that pyramid thing, you know. You need a big base to get your players to jump in and move up the ladder and get into that pro level that you want to end up to. Or, you know, I don't know if it's going to exist as is right now, but I do think there needs to be some kind of a feeder program to the pro, definitely, and more so like a group of or resources that will allow a young girl that's graduating, moving away from home probably, but is being supported with like the gym access for free and the ice access for free, and she potentially is getting equipment as well too, because hockey is expensive, as you know, like and we're still paying our stuff, so you can't escape this as of today. But that's something that we are striving for. We're not just creating this one league. I think we're creating a little bit more for women's hockey and what it actually deserves as a sport. Yeah.
So it's like a funnel system. It's no different than you go from minor hockey to whether it be high school hockey, prep school, junior leagues in the PWHL or the JWHL, straight to college, university. And now it's okay, what's that next step? And then, you know, the cream of the crop.
Exactly. So basically you have this like feeder program that is like taking you and holding your hand the whole way to college, right? And then once you get to college, which is or for me anyways, when I was back, that's my NHL. Like, I'm going to get my school paid for, will graduate with no debt, no nothing, and then can start my life basically. But yeah, they don't tell you that you might still love hockey when you graduate. You might still be good enough to play.
To keep playing. Yep.
You know, and you look at, you graduate with guys that are on the other side and they leave, like, you know, during the playoffs, and you're just like, man, he was like a fourth liner, didn't really play. I mean, you're like, kind of like jealousy comes in, and you're like, man, I wish I could get this opportunity too, or I wish there would be something for my sport as well too. So I don't want to say I wish, I want to say it's there. So I think the PWHPA is also part of that concept too, and creating more than you know, obviously we need to start somewhere. We need to start with the, like, a top, whatever that team is, if it's the original six like the NHL did, who knows, you know. But then there's needs to be some more supports around those teams for sure.
Yeah. And I love that you're still playing. I love that you're still part of the game. You're an advocate, you're a voice. You're still young, so get over that, me throwing your age out there. All right, you're still young, you have a career ahead of you still. Yeah. But I have to ask, because you are a veteran, you use your wisdom, your smarts, you got that on top of all these rookies and young kids. All right, what keeps you going? Like, why do you believe you've had such a successful career and continue to?
I don't, this is funny because I never even I never thought about my career as being successful in a sense of what I compare myself to. A successful athlete is an Olympian, right? So in order for a hockey player on the women's side to say that she made it or she did big, she needs to make a roster of 25 max, right? Or some kind. And it's funny that you're saying I've been successful, because I don't know how to handle this, and it's weird to not be able to handle it. And I thank you for putting it in my face like that and have to deal here with it. But I think it's just the passion that I've always had for this game. I mean, I started, I was 4, and I begged my dad to get me out of figure skating and buy me the brown skates, because I needed a stick in my hands, and that's just, I couldn't just skate around. And that never left me. And somehow I was trying at times to figure out who I was without hockey as well too, because I think those are super important phases as well too. And it's it fuels me. It's like, I talk about hockey and I'm loving it. I try to help people. I try to get out of coaching completely to have more time, and I'm like still helping here and there and whatnot. And I go to practice and it's amazing, but I don't just love the locker room. Like I love being on the ice. I think that the fact that I can still manage to play with these people that train every day and go to play on the biggest stage. I know my role, I know what I bring, and I focus on that. And I also, you know, caught myself at time thinking like, oh, it's okay. Like I can just do this. And I'm like, no, I'm not serving anyone. I'm not serving myself, because this is not who I am, of like letting you have the puck that easy. No, I'm intense. I'm who I am. And I pushed my teammates. And I think that's what also pushed me to keep going is I haven't lost that. I haven't felt like I'm also behind as much maybe as I should be at 32. I don't know. 32 is young, apparently. Who knows? But,
it is. It's the new 21.
I love this. And then 30 is the new 20, is what I was told. So.
Yes. Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
It's a very interesting concept, and also like realizing that the more you read, they tell you like, oh, you're about to peak at 28 to the 30, 32 years old, 33. And I'm like, wow, all these hockey players have graduated at 22, 23, and
right.
Right? So I'm okay with being this 32 years old playing hockey. And at times I was embarrassed, to be honest with you. And not until, I believe it was my last year in the CW, one of my friend in Calgary actually came up to me and was like, I love that you're still playing. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you're making fun of me clearly. Like, you're sarcastic right now. Obviously, like, Karell can't give up, basically, like, retired, put your skates up type of thing. And she's like, no, I love it because you give also, like, a little bit of a different aspect or a different looking up to, a different type of role or player. Like, you don't just need to be an Olympian to keep playing till you're 35 type of thing.
Cax, that's literally what I'm trying to say to you. Like, this is why I keep saying you are successful. You have a success story. You are inspiring the vast majority of players that will never be an Olympian. Like, I don't know, you gotta, like, hear me out. Like, you literally are that player. Like, I wish I could still be playing. I wish I did what you did.
You could, probably. You could, like.
But it's one of those things though, like, if I saw you when I was younger growing up, I would be inspired. Yes, there's the Poulins and the Ouellets and, the Julie Chews and everybody else that played for an extended period of time, who's still playing, but like, you're the one that I could probably resonate with more because you aren't an Olympian. And yes, I had my shot. Yes, you had your shot. We both didn't make it, but you're still playing. You're still doing it. Like, that's amazing. And I think it gets back to what you said earlier, though, of like, this is why you guys created the PWHPA, was so that players don't have to stop at 21, at 22 when they're done their college careers. They can keep playing into their late 20s and 30s. And who knows, maybe we're going to have a Jaromir Jagr come along into those 40s. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's so inspirational. And it's why I wanted you to be on here so people could hear your story and understand that you're still doing it. And you still have this crazy passion for the game. And until you lose it, why would you stop? Why would you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point. And
thank you.
Honestly, up until now, although I didn't want to stop, and I don't want to stop because we are in this crazy momentum and we are in this scenario of about to be creating something, and I don't want to stop and other people to stop. So I try to keep people in so that we get there and we make it happen. But I don't often look back at being like, okay, I'm also this cool player that can inspire people too.
You
like
will one day. You will. You're still doing it, but you're a leader too. Like, you're a leader. That's why you don't want to give up on this either. You have the passion, but you're also a leader and want to see this through. You want to make
I
this
really
happen.
do. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll give it to you. You're right.
You're not going to fight me anymore. Thanks.
No,
Thanks, buddy.
I'm okay with it. And if I can inspire anyone to keep on playing hockey, then I've done my job. You're right. And
100%.
If I can be an example of the small girl coming from Frenchland to go to the US and get graduating with whatever I did and have a successful, like, little story in hockey there too. And, with St. Lawrence and then I did, and I ended up at Hockey Canada too at some point while coaching. And I've seen both of the areas from a player's perspective to a coach there. And I did a lot in a little period of time, and I thought I was, honestly, the way I used to look at it, it's like, I'm everywhere, I need to figure it out. But yeah, I feel like that all kind of like made sense to what I'm doing, where I am, and where I'm going, basically. So
100%.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yes, this has been
inspired.
It's been awesome. You've inspired me, and I already know your story, but just talking to you and hearing the passion in your voice and the drive and the dedication, and you're not going to give up. Like, people can chirp you for not giving up, hang up the skates, whatever. You keep going until you're ready to do it. But it's again, I hope, if nothing else, this inspires somebody who's listening to not give up and to keep pushing and fighting for that equality and what you believe in. And I know you made a little Facebook post there with parody just about it kind of leads into my last question here for you. But if you could go back to when you were a little girl and tell yourself one thing, what would it be?
One thing. I would tell her a lot.
Lay it all out there. That's fine. You know what? You can go talk to her. Just do it. You don't have to talk to your dog on this one. You can talk to the little you.
Yeah. No. I honestly would tell her that I'm freaking proud of her and that I wish I could be as confident as she is, basically. Society and growing up makes you double think or double analyze things and overthink things. And second guess yourself. And she never did. She was going to make it and probably make to the NHL in her head. And I would tell her today to keep on doing what she did and to, keep on loving it. And that one day she will have a place to play and whatnot. And I think I will almost reverse it to the reason why I'm still playing is because of her, technically.
Love that.
She had the fire. She had everything. She could be on the outdoor rink all day long. She didn't care. It was her thing, and kind of like where you get lost. And sometimes I don't think I've ever lost that. But at times you get away from it and you don't realize it. So if she allows me to reconnect with this sport, and I would thank her and I would tell her to keep on pushing, and that the boys are just the boys and they will be the boys. I was fortunate enough to have amazing teammates, though, I will say it. And it's funny because on my post that I did on the Instagram, a guy, Kyle Lawson, I played AAA in summer hockey. I remember the guy too, we worked together later on, but he was like, hey, we treated you like you were one of us, and like you were awesome, and it was a pleasure to play with you, basically. And I was like, you're right. I was lucky to have amazing teammates that respected me, let me, dress in the same locker room as them. They were respectful. They never put anything, in the way of me just being a hockey player or bullied. Or I did have quite the character, like, and the like
personality.
Don't F with me.
Yeah.
Don't F with me. I'm coming at you, basically. Yeah. So then they need that, but it's the other guys out there that didn't know me, and they always say the little things that just the undertone, and I just used it as a motivation, and I would tell her, let it go by, let it fly, keep on going, because you're gonna go way further than them.
Yep.
Don't even worry about it. And she's a beauty, and she will still be a beauty, and her passion is living through me, so I thank her for it.
That's a great answer. I absolutely love it. So, okay, tell our listeners, how can they find you? How can they learn more about the PWHPA? Like, where can we find you, locate you, or what you're doing, the movements you're involved in?
Yeah, so I'm specifically in the PWHPA MTL, so Montreal. They can find me on Instagram or at MR76 or on Twitter. And PWHPA, obviously our website, or at PWHPA for the Instagram stuff and our posts and everything. But if there's anything that you guys want or need in the Montreal area, please reach out directly to us. We can do anything as long as it's COVID safe and whatnot. I'm also the French speaker here with Mary as well too. So we're trying to inform people in both languages. And if we don't do a good job, please let us know, because we will inform you on that as well too. So pour les Français, if you guys are listening, reach out. We are there for you. But yeah, very looking forward to play in front of our kids here in Montreal.
Les Français, merci beaucoup. I got a little bit of French in me,
Yeah, that's true.
We got to wrap up. Sorry about that. We're not going to get into that today.
I see how it is. No,
I slide that in at the end there. No, but Cax, I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I know our listeners will get great value for this. So we will catch you on Instagram, Twitter, all over the social media world, and hopefully more importantly on the ice very soon. So we'll keep tabs on you and what's going on, and we wish you the best. To everybody else, thank you for listening. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, keep chasing your dreams.